Hi, in this short video I'm going to demonstrate the new Infracost plugin for IntelliJ IDEs. My name's Owen Rumney and I've recently joined Infracost, where you can scan your Terraform and get an indication of how much it's going to cost on a monthly basis. A huge number of resources from the main cloud providers are already supported, with more being added all the time. Infracost also has a cloud offering which adds a lot more functionality around policies for tagging, FinOps, adding guardrails for developers. You can check out infracost.io for more information about this. When I joined a few months ago, there was already a successful VSCode extension so that you could have in IDE information about how much the Terraform you were writing was going to cost. But I use Golang, so I decided to create a plugin for JetBrains IDEs. That means if you're using PyCharm, IDEA, WebStorm, Golang, any of the JetBrains IDEs, you'll be able to use this plugin. For this example, I'm going to be using IDEA. I'm going to demonstrate it with some fairly contrived Terraform. It's got a database server, a web app, and an application load balancer. It's not an example of fantastic Terraform, it's an example that serves my purpose to do pricing. So let's take a quick look. We've got a network which has got a VPC subnet security group. We've got a database, in this case it's going to be MySQL. It's got a random password with a secret manager secret so that we can keep that. We have a web app which has got the instance, it's got a load balancer, it's got attachments. Ideally I probably should use an auto scaling group. For simplicity I'm just going to keep it to an instance. Then we've got some variables where we've got the instance type we're using, how many we want, database instance class, whether or not we're using multi-AZ, and things like the database storage. So let's close all that. The first thing we need to do is go and install a plugin. So if we go to plugins and in the marketplace, if we search for Infracost and install, and we're using 122. Now the first thing it'll do is it'll download Infracost, because we bundle the latest version of Infracost with the plugin. So if you're on Windows, macOS, Linux, it will pull down the correct version. If you have your own install version, you can come into the settings and you can change the Infracost path to yours. I don't know that there's a huge amount of need to do that, because you can keep updating the bundled Infracost here. This tick box, every time you save a Terraform related file, it's going to run Infracost. It's not going to bunch them up and run. Every time you save, you're not going to get like scan. If there is already a scan running, it'll schedule another one, but you'll only ever get 1 + 1. You're not going to get 100 scans all backed up because you saved lots of files. If you don't like scan and save, you can turn it off here, and then you'll just have to press the play button whenever you want an updated price. Okay, so let's run it and see what happens. So within a few seconds, we've got a monthly price of this small amount of Terraform, and it's going to be $114 a month. That's great, because I haven't had to go to AWS website to get all the pricing information. I haven't had to work out which of my items are actually cost related and which ones are free. It's all been done for me, and it gets better. So let's have a look at this web app. The web app is $16.89 and the ALB is $18. I think the ALB is going to stay a fairly fixed price. There's not much we can do about that. The database, the secret is $5. Again, not a lot we can do on that one. That's generally the cost of the calls to the API. And our database is $73. So if I click on an individual item in this tree view, it'll take me to that resource with an annotation about how much that's going to cost. So we had a quick look at the variables. If I said, okay, it's a development environment, let's just go for a T2 small in this case, and do we really need 10 gig of storage for this dev environment? Let's just use 1. So if I save now, it's running Infracost, and we can see that the price has changed. It's now $47.54. The secret's still the same price, the web app's not changed, so that's great. Now, things get interesting if I get rid of this, and I can press this clear button and it'll dump out all the results out. So, now this is where things get really interesting. If I bring in some invariable file, some TFR file. So if I've got a dev environment and I'm saying that I want a T2 small for my dev environment, and I've got a prod environment, and I'm going to go big, I'm going to use an M7 Flex X large for my web app, but I want 5 of them because I'm really confident in the popularity of my tool. The database is going to be multi-AZ, and it's going to be using a pretty big database instance, M7G 2X large, and the storage is going to be 100 gig. So I don't want to have to go and work out the pricing for all of that. That's quite a lot of changes that I'm making in one go. It's great if it could all be calculated for me, but I've got 2 different environments. So if I now run Infracost, what it's going to do is it's going to give me a tree view for each of the different TFRs it's found. So if I'd added a staging or a test, then I would have additional items in this tree view. So we can see that our prod has just got super expensive. We've got 5 required instances, and it's telling us that there's 5, and they're going to be $140 a month each. The ALB stayed the same, and our database is now $1,000 a month. So this really better pay for itself, this application that I'm deploying here. So I'm sure you can agree, the takeaways are great. I'm a developer, I want to stay doing the things that I'm doing. I don't want to have to be switching out to a web app to find pricing. I don't want to have to be getting out my calculator to work out how much is 5 times of this instance, how much am I going to have to add in for storage. This can all be done for me. Yes, there are tools. Yes, there are things like EC Instances Info website where you can get a breakdown of prices. Yes, you can use the AWS pricing calculator, but all those require you to move away from the IDE where you're doing the work you want to be doing. So I hope you find this useful. It's a very early version of the plugin, so any issues you have, please report them. There is a GitHub repo. It's Infracost /JetBrains Infracost. So you can add issues there, or you can talk to us on our community Slack, and we will help you as best we can. So again, hope you find it useful. Thanks very much.